All right, Patrick, we need your thoughts here as the resident baseball guru here. So Declan made an impassioned plea for people to stop ragging on Byron Buxton's .215 batting average because he's 23 home runs, defense, everything. Does his .215 batting average bother you?
Yes, it does. And but what bothers me, I'm bothered by the same thing you were, that he doesn't get on base.
Yes.
This all started, by the way, the only reason I brought it up was someone was claiming that he was the best player in baseball argument, right? Well,
I think I called him the best player in the world for a while there.
People were talking, and then this was a Twitter thing, and I said, you can't be hitting .215 with a .293. No, this was when I said on Twitter, how can the Angels, with the two best players in the world, be terrible? And I saw you commenting on that too. Mm-hmm. And this guy said, well, Buxton's better than Trout. So then that's how this all started. So I said a guy that's hitting .215 with a .293 on base percentage is not even in the discussion as to the best player in the world. Not in the discussion. Gorman Thomas was never claimed to be the greatest player in the world when he was playing with the Milwaukee Brewers. And these are Gorman numbers, except Gorman got on base a lot more and drove in more runs. This guy, he's got 23 home runs. He's also got 42 RBIs. He's not knocking in runs. No. He's had some great home runs. He's a great player. I'm not arguing that, but
sounds like sounds like you want to trade him. That's what I'm hearing here.
That he's, in the same, that he can be uttered in the same breath as Mike Trout is ridiculous. Or Ohtani, who's, the marvel of my lifetime when it comes to baseball. So, anyway, that's my theory.
The sad thing, Patrick, is this. I'm just happy when he can play now.
And he's playing a lot.
I know he is, but I'm settling for it now.
Half of it's DH, but that's okay. Certainly when he DHs, 40% of his value is gone. Right. If you're evaluating him as a player, it's 40-60 probably. You want him as a hitter and just because hitters are more valuable than fielders, but as a DH. But I don't know. Is this as low as his batting average? He had the couple of years where he had to get sent back to the minors because he was hitting 150. But is this the lowest his batting average has ever been?
Yeah, it depends on what you want to do with some of those short seasons. Like 2018, he batted 156, got sent down. But if you look at the seasons in which he at least had, let's say, 100 plate appearances, last year he had about this many plate appearances. He had 250 plate appearances. He was batting 306.
Yeah,
just a year ago.
Declan did make a good point that the batting averages are, what's the league batting average now?
242. Yeah, like 242. It's awful.
242. So it's terrible, but it has been an interesting transformation that he's become a home run hitter, hasn't it? That he's become the slugger, and I think part of that comes from his theory about 3 years ago that I'm going to stop listening to all these idiots and hack like I used to, right? And that's, he's got the big finish now on his swing. And when he hits them, they go 420 feet. He's a slugger now. And I would never mention Sano in the same breath because this guy's just a slightly better athlete than Miguel. So,
yeah.
By how much, though?
If one of them started at home plate and went left and the other finished right, they would not both meet at second base.
Somebody asked me yesterday,
5 feet away from third.
Somebody asked me yesterday in an email or Twitter or somewhere, so wait a second, Buxton's hitting .215 with a bunch of power and Miguel Sano hits .215 with a bunch of power. Aren't they the same player, except for maybe defense? Except for maybe defense? You can't just say except for maybe defense as if it's not, this huge part.
They rarely pinch run for Buxton if he's on first in the ninth inning. Let's put it that way.
So would you rather have let's take the first really good season he had was his third year, 2017. And that was and he actually he won the Gold Glove and finished 18th in MVP voting. So he got a couple down the ballot.
Gold Glove year? Or was that when he won the defensive player of all of baseball, of all the American League? Yeah.
And so he, his slugging percentage was just a tick over 400. Now it's 550. He played 140 games, had only 16 home runs, but stole 29 bases. So he was, had a little power, but batting average was over 250. So he was more of a make contact more often, get on base, steal bases, infield singles, keep the ball on the ground.
And play center field every day. Oh, excuse me. I'll take that guy.
Over this guy,
yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
if I get 140 games of center field, but I have to sacrifice the power, maybe it is worth the trade-off.
And I'm still a big RBI guy. I know everybody tries to diminish him, and you can select various RBIs. But when Eddie Rosario knocks in 109 runs, he had a good year. Okay, that's and I know through the years we have like Bruno. Didn't Bruno hit 28 home runs and had 51 RBIs 1 year or something like that? One of his first early years, and
he had 29 home runs and 13 RBIs. It was mathematically impossible.
It's somewhere early in his career. I think maybe his first year. He had 28 home runs and 50 some RBIs. And we used to ridicule the hell out of him. Well, this guy's got 23 home runs and 42 RBIs. They hit a double once in a while with the bases loaded. Come on.
He had 20 home runs and 46 RBIs in his first full season.
20 home runs and 4K.
Didn't Trevor Plouffe have a season like that too in 2013 when he had like 20 home runs over 40 games in June, July, and had all of them. No one was on base.
Yeah. He was nuts for that. Remember that? I mean, we thought we had the next, I don't know.
He was on Sports Center every night.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. He was so damn hot. I love Buxton. He's, I keep saying when he plays, they're 20% better, right? Pitching, fielding, hitting, they're 20% better. But he's not in the discussion as the best player in baseball because we see him for 3 days where he's phenomenal. Yeah. You can't say he's the best player in baseball. That's how this all started. This argument that somebody refuting my idea that Ohtani and Trout were the two best players in baseball. You can argue that point, but you can't argue it with Byron Buxton as your guy to refute that. Not the way he's playing now. By the way, this team, when this week's over, they're going to have played 94 games. So let's not anybody say first half, second half, okay? We're over 60%. You'll have played over 60% of the schedule when this week's over. So there's not much, if they can have a 5-game lead going into, you're going to have to fall on your face. And, they're capable with this pitching staff of falling on their face. But, with only 68 games left after the break. You don't have to win many. You win 30, you win the division, right?
Yes. And Cleveland and Chicago, Patrick, every single time I think that they might be catching up, they completely come undone. So I think that this is them as much as the Twins actually holding the lead.
And the Guardies and the Whiteys are playing now, right? The Guardies whomp them last night. They beat them.
Just fire La Russa. Why? Come on. They got to fire Tony.
Is he the reason why they're not winning, though? I
don't think so.
Tony, come on. But he's not helping them one bit. You guys don't really think he's helping them.
I don't know. I don't think... maybe. I mean, you're saying if you fire Tony La Russa that it's going to galvanize the clubhouse?
Your only hope.
Well, their only hope is to, I think the biggest fiasco of the All-Star game is that Tim Anderson is starting at shortstop. You hit the ball to him, it's 50-50 whether it's going to get to first base, for God's sake. He's a butcher. Yeah. How did he end up being are there no shortstops in the league?
Did he win the vote? Did he win the vote?
He won the vote.
That's why. It's Chicago. He's one of the more marketable, recognizable faces.
I mean, he's not good. I mean, he's hit okay, but he's a hack in the field.
Well, they were voting Derek Jeter in when he was 39.
Yeah, he's a nutcase, but that shouldn't get you into the All-Star. How about, here's the biggest shock to me. Chisholm Jr., the guy from the Marlins, is starting at second base. Where did he get the votes from?
I've never heard of him until today.
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
he's good.
He's having a good year, but there must have been some.
Just mash it, man. Sit there all day long and vote and vote and vote and vote.
Yeah, but
that's how it works now.
Why do you choose him as the guy you're going to? Some guy.
Did the Marlins do some? Maybe they did some big time marketing campaign or something.
With who?
I don't know.
Have any fans?
Maybe you leverage TikTok or something.
Yeah,
I don't.
Maybe Levitar just had a mutiny to get Jazz Chisholm into the All-Star game.
Yeah. It could have been. Maybe
that could have been.
You know what? That's probably it. He and Stu Gotts probably decided that Jazz Chisholm should be because they like the name and they like to make fun of baseball. I mean, I think Dan's last year as a Hall of Fame voter, he didn't vote for anybody, right? And
he sold it to Deadspin.
He sold it to Deadspin. Yeah.
Sold it to Deadspin, and we took it away.
We took it, yes.
So anyway, yeah, interesting game tonight because let's see if Winder's for real, huh? Let's see if he can become he's a big strong kid.
He makes me nervous as a starter. I think if you could make it so that he's a 2 or 3 inning reliever at some point.
Yeah, but I don't think you can afford that right now, right?
Not right now. No,
he's got to be a starter. And Joe Ryan is not the second coming of Nolan either. I mean, he's okay, but he's as I said, when you first come up and you just throw your fastball and nobody can catch up with it, and you got this delivery and everything, and you're getting everybody out, it's easy to keep throwing strikes. When you have some bad moments, then you start questioning yourself, and he's been in long counts a lot more than he was earlier. He's okay, but he's not good. We got Joe Ryan pitching tonight. Good. So
I've actually I've sort of mentally accepted 20 years of Twins logic that maybe they're not going to do anything at the trade deadline, but getting Miguel Sano back is like making a trade in 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, right. What are they going to do? He
just hit a couple of jacks 2 nights ago in the is it the Gulf Coast League? I think they call it something else now. It's the FCL.
It's
the Florida Complex League is what it's called.
Florida Complex League, not the Gulf Coast League. So he's playing with the kids. He's playing with the 19-year-olds.
Yes, that's where he started.
Yeah. 18, 19-year-olds, and he hit 2, huh? Hit 2 on that big backfield they built a few years
Well, this one was at the FCL Red Sox. I don't know if they played on the mini green monster or maybe it was a chain link fence field, but he cleared the fence twice.
It probably was the chain link field. Well, Miranda, as much as I bashed him and I still hate it whenever I see him at first base, he can hit. So you can't sub Snow in for him, can you? Yeah, can you?
No.
No. So then what are you going to do? Where do you put him when you can't get rid of Kirilloff? Or Larnach's already, he's going to spend the rest of the year in St. Paul when he gets healthy, if they stay healthy. I think, though, don't you think they're going to trade Kepler for a pitcher? Try to trade Kepler for a pitcher between now and July 31st.
What can you get for him pitching wise for Kepler?
You can get a marginal starter. You know what we haven't bashed him about? How do they possibly let Martin Perez get away?
There it is.
How did they let Martin Perez get away? The other day, he gives up a 5 spot there with 6 runs to the Twins in an inning, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Texas hung with him, and he ends up going 7. He's on the All-Star team. How did they let him get away?
He's a grinder. Yep.
Rocco would have taken him out after 4. He would have said, "You're done."
I don't like his chances of getting through a 6-run inning with the Rock. That's for sure. Although they let Smeltzer get the hell beat out of him the other day, so.
It is kind of amazing what they're like. Devin Smeltzer is a mainstay in this rotation now, and Going to lean on Josh Winder. Declan wants them to buy high on Martin Perez at the trade deadline. I'm going to
high.
Declan, when Martin had his great 2 months here, maybe.
Yeah, it was a great 2 months. Yeah,
it was.
He was throwing a cutter for the first time. Nobody knew he had this mysterious cutter. He was so hopeless for the next 3 months. And I remember being in Boston with him, and he started against Boston. I was there with my sons. We were on a little trip, and we were wondering who they were going to go to in the second inning, and he ended up going 7 or 8 that night, and they won that game. But that's the only good game he pitched the last 4 months he was here in Fenway against a Red Sox team that was good. So it's very odd. What else we got in the sports world?
Summer League. You want to break down Summer League?
Yeah. Wait. Well, no. Go ahead. You got something else?
Oh, I was going to say we had Kevin O'Connell on the Big Purple Daily Show yesterday.
That. Way to go. How was he?
He was
good.
affable. He was. Let's just put it this way. We'll find out if he can coach once the games start in 2 months from now. But in terms of finding a guy that might make eye contact with Brian O'Neill and be personable, they definitely found
I think
that guy.
Probably. Brian won't have to worry about the.
Yep. Good morning.
The absolute trauma of not having a coach say hello to him when he walked by him down the hallway. So, how can you for a living block monsters and then get offended that some coach forgets to say hello to you because he's thinking about something else? Good thing, Judd, you were around. Good thing he never had Joel Kramer as a boss. He would have been in trouble. Did you ever run into Joel in the hallway?
I did, but he didn't look up.
He
didn't look at me.
Joel would be thinking of stuff, and he could walk through a brick wall.
And you know what? That's the exact type of person I love, because then I don't have to talk to him.
Yeah, that is.
No eye contact. I could play for Zim all day long.
Now I got to ask you: Did you sit through the 7 made threes out of 64 shots games between the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves? Did you watch that?
So I watched the first Summer League game and put together 5 observations about Wolves Summer League for yesterday's Mackey show. And it was like writing a column where you've got the Twins offense explodes, and then the bullpen gives up 6 in the 9th. And you just change the first sentence of your column to, despite the bullpen giving up 6 runs in the 9th.
We call that the nevertheless lead. Nevertheless, boy, they stunk last night. Yeah, that's right. There's that happens. That happens way more than it has to. I got saved from writing I was going to write something else came up. I was going to write the Jorge Polanco is the only warrior on this team column, and then he went down for 10 days with a bad back. So like 10 minutes later. So,
despite the fact that he just went down for the first time in his career on the injured list. Yeah. Summer League is amazing. It's like all these. So the big drama from a couple days ago, LeBron James last year, because he goes to Summer League every year, and last year he showed up with Russell Westbrook. They sat by each other. It was great. This is our new guy. And the big drama 2 nights ago, there's a big feature in The Athletic about it. LeBron comes and he sits courtside, and it's this parade of stars and current players and Lakers executives coming up and giving him handshakes. And on the other side of the court, diagonally, was Russell Westbrook sitting in isolation. They did not communicate to each other.
So they're obviously going to try to get somebody's going to take the last year of Russell's contract and then give them. Do they think that the Nets aren't going to take Urban? Nets aren't going to take Russell for him to have a buyout contract, right?
Probably need to sweeten that. Probably needs to be Russell and something else. I
think Judd told me this yesterday, or somebody did. The only thing that he wanted, that the Nets want for Durant, is Cat and Edwards and draft choice
and 3 first-round picks.
First-round picks.
But that was it.
I'm not going to make that deal. I don't think. But the good thing about it is you get at least 20 regular season games out of Durant if you do that. You'll play at least 20 games for you, so that's good too. He's Kyrie is a certifiable idiot. He thinks the world's flat and things like that. But big non-vaxxer. But Durant he's one of the most unrealistic human beings of all time. His opinion of himself and his thin skin, and he goes back to the fact he gave that gal who played for his high school girlfriend a engagement ring when she played for the Lynx there. Remember what was her name?
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but yeah.
Just because he wanted to make her feel good. He didn't want her to be mad at him, but then he had to break up with her. So, he's not good. He's a dummy too, but he's a great player.
He is a great player. Would you trade Karl Anthony Towns for I guess it would be 4 years of Kevin Durant?
No. I would, in a heartbeat.
No.
He's 33.
He's not going to play. He's not going to play.
That's fine.
He played some games. Didn't he play 60-some games last year?
I bet he didn't play 40 this year.
I'm going to take the over on that. Let's see.
The year before he didn't play?
Well, he didn't blow his Achilles, and then he had
because he went back in the game for Golden State in the finals.
So he played 55 games last year.
Yeah, that's high for him. So he only missed 27.
If it was Towns and 2 first-round picks, or even let's call it 3.
We already gave up. Where are you
going to get those picks?
Buddy. Utah.
No, before the Gobert trade is what I'm saying. Is if you would have done this before the Gobert trade, that would have been the best possible offer the Nets would have gotten. Would have been a young Karl Anthony Towns and multiple picks. I think that would have been the best offer the Nets could have gotten. I would have done it.
Yes, but then where would have Durant taken this team?
Burn it out 1 year in the finals, and I'm cool with it.
He ain't go to the finals.
Yeah, that's the problem is they wouldn't get there.
Yeah, that's true.
Durant's a weird dude, though. He reads everything.
I'd rather have Rudy Gobert than Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's a fraud. Very good fraud. But
he should go back to Golden State. Wouldn't that be fun? Just leech off another championship run.
Let him get up there where they're capped. They're only over the cap by like $200 million. How about that? See if they can win it.
Yeah, how willing is I don't think is Glenn going to want to pay luxury tax in the next year and a half, or is he going to make the minority owners come up with $1 billion so that they can then pay?
When they're supposed to cut that last check? Anybody know? Next
December of 23 is the deadline day.
23. Okay.
Yep, that's the deadline day for the last balloon payment.
I'm rooting for him not to have the money. And Glenn just put that $500 million in his pocket, and he can throw a little of that into the Star Tribune fund. That'll be great.
Let me ask this: is part of the reason why Glenn has been a little bit more open to selling the last 2, 3, 4 years because of just how bad they continue to be, and now that they're relevant, would Glenn have a little bit less appetite now that they're good? And might make a run in the playoffs. I'm not saying he's going to go back on the deal, but do you think maybe, this is okay? Yeah.
I think at his age, he's trying to get his finances in order for the next generation, would be my guess. So
that's a fair point.
I don't want to say anything controversial about Mr. Taylor.
Come on, Royce.
Of course not. No.
Come on.
No.
I am not rooting, although I do love chaos, I am not rooting for the scenario you are. I just can't wait till the brand new building opens, new arena in downtown. That's what I'm excited
downtown
for.
Where? Hopefully Minneapolis or St. Paul. And
not St. Paul. No,
Seattle or Las Vegas.
And I keep saying,
downtown Minneapolis.
As I keep saying, they cannot abandon that piece of property in downtown Minneapolis. You cannot have that big hole on First Avenue.
Correct.
With everything going on now. You can't have the, it's fine having the strip club next door, but that can't be the only thing between you and Target Field and
Hennepin nice.
And Hennepin Avenue.
It's a classy strip club.
It is. Yeah, they don't have the hot dog.
Here it is.
They don't have the hot dog buffet, but
it's not like the Skyway was with the afternoon dances. Despite the fact I know nothing about those.
I haven't been in one since I went to Mettler's to talk to them about how the Vikings not being in camp was affecting business. I went in there to see if it was cutting into business, and it was. They were a little worried about that, because you'd get those 5 guys who took their one trip a year to Mankato would maybe stop after Vikings, go to the morning practice, and then maybe not sit around for the afternoon practice. So that was affecting.
No, they'd sit around. They would just sit around the employees at Mettler's.
It would just cost them $5 to sit around.
Or 20, depending.
Sit around in a room that had a curtain in front of it. I don't know. But
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no idea what we're talking about here.
No, we don't. We don't.
Folks, we're very clueless about this.
Right.
All right, Pat.
All right, gentlemen.
ya.
Go Buck, but feel free to hit a double too.
Just once in a while.
Yeah,
Once in a while.
okay. All right.
All right, see you, Pat. All right, wrapping with Royce, presented by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. Later on this month, they are going to put all of their friends and networks of people together and try and raise millions more dollars for Big Brothers Big Sisters. $44 million raised since 2005, and it's just a great one-to-one mentoring relationship that you can build as a big with a child in need. Find out more about how you can potentially get involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters at federatedchallenge.org. Federatedchallenge.org. All right, we covered a lot of ground there. Gonna have to let that one mentally sink in.